My new office job is really weird. Hey Reddit, I don't post here much, and I honestly debated even putting this out there. But something weird is happening, and I need to get it off my chest. Or maybe just see if anyone else has gone through something similar. I started a new job last week. Kind of. It's complicated. I'm a 33-year-old father of two. I was working as director of operations for a company I won't name, but it was well known, decently sized, and I was making good money. About a month ago, I got laid off out of nowhere. Budget restructuring, they said. I was spiraling. Mortgage, kids, all that. I hadn't even told my wife yet when I got a call from a private number. Guy on the other end sounded mid-40s, friendly, professional. Said he was sorry to hear about my situation, and then offered me a job. I never gave out my resume. No idea how he got my number or knew I'd been let go. I asked for details, and he just said, "We like how you work. We'd like to see it in a different environment." Vague as hell. But he gave me a meeting point. 9 a.m. sharp the next day. A payphone downtown, a few blocks from where I live. I know how this sounds. I know I should have just walked away. But I was desperate. And it was public, so I figured, worst case, I just don't get in the car. I showed up the next morning dressed for an interview. A black SUV pulled up. Clean, expensive, windows tinted like a hearse. Guy in a suit opened the door for me without saying a word. Somehow, he knew who I was. I got in. The man inside was all smiles. He greeted me like we were old colleagues, shook my hand, said, "You clean up well, Mr. Langston. Let's get started." The drive was short, maybe 10 minutes, and completely silent. We pulled into the lot of a plain, windowless building, office park kind of place, but no signage. Inside, the air smelled faintly like chlorine. Everything was white, fluorescent lighting, long, identical hallways. He walked me down one flight of stairs, then through what felt like a dozen corridors. No windows, no clocks. Finally, we stopped at a door with a badge reader. He swiped a card, opened it, and stepped inside. "This is your station." The room looked like a break room and an office had a baby. One desk, one computer, a filing cabinet, coffee machine, microwave. Weirdly sterile. No decorations. On the desk was a monitor, already on. The screen read, "Welcome, candidate number 345. We're glad you're back." That last part stuck with me. Back? I've never been here before. "So, what exactly do I do here?" I asked. The man smiled politely, but before he could answer, his phone buzzed. He glanced at it and said, "One moment." Then he stepped out of the room and shut the door. That's when it got weirder. There was a photo on the wall. Employee of the month. It was me. Same face, same haircut, even the same suit I was wearing. Smiling like I just won the lottery. The date under it was August 14th, 2024. That's next month. I thought maybe this was some onboarding prank or someone with a sense of humor. But the photo looked real. A little too real. Then I noticed a filing cabinet in the corner. I opened it. Inside were black binders labeled with simple numbers. 1, 2, 3, etc. I pulled out number 3. Inside was a CD, no label. The computer had a disk drive, so I slid it in and hit play. It was me, on the screen. Same room, same clothes, same dead eyes. I was sitting at the desk, staring at the camera. Then I started talking. "Candidate number 345. If you're watching this, the test has restarted. That means you failed, or the parameters changed." My voice was flat, no emotion. I didn't even blink. "Don't trust the mirrors. They're not calibrated right. And if you see your family, leave. That's not them." The screen cut to static. I sat there for a moment, just breathing. Then I noticed a small envelope had been slipped under the door. I hadn't heard anything. Inside was a post-it note. "The microwave is not a microwave." I turned and looked at it. Just a regular stainless steel appliance. When I stepped closer, I caught my reflection in the door. At first, it looked normal. But then I noticed something. My reflection was clenching its jaw. I wasn't. It blinked. I didn't. I backed away and went straight for the computer. A new folder had appeared on the desktop. Personal feedback. Inside was a document labeled Performance Review. Candidate number 345. There were bullet points. Notes. Subject showed confusion during entry. Normalized within 10 minutes. Reacted emotionally to photostimulus. Wife. Memory markers. Freckles. Beach. Shoulder birthmark. Triggered hesitation. Mirror test. Semi-successful. I stared at the last line. Memory markers. They knew about the birthmark on my wife's shoulder. I hadn't told anyone that. It's a tiny thing, but it's one of the first things I noticed about her when we met. She hates it. Thinks it looks like a smudge. I love it. But here's the thing. The last time I saw her, really saw her, it wasn't there. Now I don't know what's happening. I don't know what this job is, or what I'm supposed to be doing. I haven't left this room. There's no clock, no phone signal. Every so often I hear footsteps outside the door. But no one comes in. And every time I check the wall, the Employee of the Month photo has changed. The smile's different. The suit is darker. And today, she's in the photo with me. My wife. She's wearing a name tag. It says, Observer A. I haven't decided if I'm staying another day. I don't know what happens if I try to leave. I don't even know how long I've been here anymore. But one last thing, and this is what really pushed me to post. There's a second folder on the desktop now. It's called Candidates. It was hundreds of files, each named with a number. I opened one at random. Candidate number 344. It's a photo of a man slumped at the desk I'm sitting at now. He's not moving. Under the image is a line of text. Incomplete termination. Emotional anchor unresolved. Anyway, sorry this is so long. I don't know if this is a black site, a psych experiment, corporate R&D, or something else entirely. But if anyone out there knows what candidate number 345 means, or has ever been in a job where nothing seems real, please message me. Because I can't stop thinking about that photo. And the fact that Rachel's freckles are gone. Update. It's been a little while since I last wrote, but I've got quite the update. After posting, I stayed at my desk and kept digging through the computer. I'm pretty sure there's nothing else on it, at least nothing I can access. I tried to get the man from earlier to come back, but there's no phone, no intercom, no way to reach anyone. Which is weird, because I distinctly remember him saying, if you need anything, just call. I decided to try leaving. I walked over to the door, half expecting it to require a key card or something. But it opened right up, just unlocked. That felt wrong. Once I stepped into the hallway, I realized I had no idea which direction to go. I couldn't remember the path I'd taken to get there. Everything was just white, clean, fluorescent lights. The air still smelled like chlorine. I picked a random direction, right, and started walking. The smell got stronger the farther I went. At the end of the hall, I hit more turns, more clean white corridors. I figured I'd run into an exit sign eventually. Aren't those required by law? But nothing. Just more sterile maze. I wasn't keeping track of where I was going. I passed one hallway, then another. Finally, I saw a door. This one had a label. Monitoring room. Interesting. It was locked. One of those card reader locks. I tried it anyway, but it didn't budge. I pressed my ear against it. I couldn't hear anyone inside, but there was a humming, like a machine. Same pitch as fluorescent lights. Constant. Cold. I kept moving. Eventually, I noticed a stretch of hallway ahead that was completely dark. No overhead lights, just a faint blue glow coming from around the corner. As I walked toward it, the lights flickered on automatically. Motion activated. I turned the corner and saw an elevator. It had a single button. Down. I pressed it. Figured I was already this deep. May as well keep going and try to find someone, anyone, who could explain this place. The door opened instantly. I stepped in. Soft elevator music was playing. Something cheerful and generic. The kind of music that somehow makes things feel even more unsettling. Inside, there was still only one option. Down. I hit the button. The elevator started descending. When the doors opened, I stepped into more white hallways. No signs. No doors I recognized. It felt like I was walking forever. And then finally, a window. It had frosted glass, the kind that blurs everything behind it. But I could make out two figures, men in suits, talking. I knocked. I waved. They turned. One of them pointed at me. They both stared for a moment, then quickly turned away and walked out of the room. I had to find them. I moved down the hallway and saw a door. This one had a label, Interview Room. There was a little flip sign under the label that read, Session in Progress. The door required a security card, but it was slightly ajar. I pushed it open. Inside, it looked exactly like a standard HR interview setup. Neutral beige walls, 2 chairs, 1 table, a cheap plastic pitcher of water and 2 paper cups. But one of the chairs was pushed back and knocked over. There was a cup still sitting on the table, half full, with fresh condensation, like someone had just left. On the floor, I saw a clipboard. There was a form on it labeled, Candidate number 346, Early Recall Protocol. Across the page, handwritten in frantic block letters, Do not tell them what you remember. As I read it, I looked up and noticed a small camera in the top corner of the room. A red light was blinking slowly. I turned to leave. That's when I realized I was being watched. There was a mirror on the wall with that faint beige tint that two-way glass always has. I stepped closer and saw a figure on the other side. A person, just standing there. Still. Motionless. Then they noticed me noticing them. The lights in the room flickered off for exactly 2 seconds. When they came back on, the clipboard was gone. The door was exactly how I'd left it. But the clipboard was just gone. I don't know how that's even possible. I speed walked out and didn't stop moving. I didn't even know where I was going. I just walked. Eventually, I passed another window, one of the same frosted glass walls. But this time there were 3 people sitting inside, all in suits, all talking casually like it was a conference call. I pressed my ear as close to the glass as I could without them seeing me. I heard one of them say, No, this baseline empathy is still too high. We might need to loop the wife again. I froze. My wife? I slammed my fist against the glass. Hey! They looked at me again, calm, unbothered. Then they just stood up and left the room. I was angry. My heart was pounding. What were they doing with my wife? I ran. I sprinted down hallway after hallway, not even thinking, just moving. Then I saw someone. At the far end of a long corridor stood the same man from the beginning. The one who brought me here, just standing there, staring. I stopped running, tried to catch my breath, fixed my hair for some reason, and started walking toward him. As I got closer, the lights behind me started to turn off. One by one, every few steps. He smiled, tilted his head slightly. I see you found your way to the interview room, he said. I gave him a hard look. You weren't supposed to leave. There was a pause. Come with me. Let's return to your working station. No, I said. I want to leave. I've been here for God knows how long. I've no idea what I'm supposed to be doing, and I don't even know what I'm getting paid. He cut me off by handing me something. A check. $300,000. I stared at it. Is this some kind of joke? I asked. He smiled gently, almost like a parent indulging a child. When you are finished here, you will be greatly rewarded for your time and efforts. I didn't know what to say. Honestly, I was starting to second-guess everything. Was I overreacting? Was this just some kind of bizarre corporate onboarding? An experiment? I followed him back to the room. We didn't talk on the way. The halls felt longer this time. Or maybe I was just noticing things differently. The uneven spot on the floor, the faint buzz every few lights. When we got back to my room, I expected him to open the door and leave. But he stepped in with me. That same smile, polite, empty, never left his face. There's been an update, he said. The computer was already on. A new folder appeared on the desktop. This one was titled Decompression. I asked what that meant. He didn't answer. "Please sit down," he said. I hesitated, then sat. The moment I did, the door clicked shut behind me. He reached into his jacket, pulled out a small voice recorder, placed it on the desk, and hit record. The red light blinked. "What do you remember about the beach?" The question hit me weird. Not which beach, not have you been to the beach, just what do you remember about the beach? I didn't answer. He asked again, slower. "What do you remember about the beach?" I still didn't respond. My hands were sweating. My mind was racing, but I wasn't thinking about a beach. I was thinking about that photo of Rachel, Observer A, and how her birthmark was gone. He tapped the recorder twice, stopped it, and said, "Still anchored. We'll need another cycle." Before I could ask what that meant, he turned and left, shutting the door behind him. A new message popped up on the monitor. "Do not close your eyes." That was an hour ago. I'm still sitting here. I haven't blinked in what feels like minutes. And just now, the microwave beeped. I didn't touch it. I'm typing this now, and I've just realized my phone is missing. I want to call my wife. I want to tell her everything. I miss her. I hope she's not scared. I'll post another update soon. And that was My New Office Job is Really Weird by ManBehindReality. We found him. It's your fault. It's a great name. So I found this story to be quite interesting. It's got a level of psychological fear for sure, but I would say it's not crazy. Well, I suppose no. The more you really kind of break into it and try to dissect what's going on and attempt to figure out what's happening, yeah, it is a bit more horrifying as it goes on. We don't know what the goals of this organization are. We don't know what the goings on are, or what even they really do exactly. From my potential understanding and breakdown, it feels like they are bringing in people, these candidates. And the problem with it being a candidate is it usually means that they're going to do something with those people, not have them be just regular, office employee jobbies or whatever, right? And it feels like they're doing some kind of, maybe not quite cognition testing. It does feel like it's more, maybe they're trying to, I don't know, break them as humans, I suppose. It feels like they're trying to do a level of controlling, right? Which is strange. From my understanding, as the story kind of goes on, it feels like our protagonist is losing sections of time, right, from their memory. In which case, they don't know how long they've been in this place. It looks like, the fact that they think that time isn't quite in the same sequence that, like for example, when they come in and there's the employee of the month picture up, and it's them, but like the next month, like in the future, right? Which obviously is strange. How could it be from the future when the future hasn't even happened yet? And there's so many weird ties that really make it feel like he's been here before, probably multiple times. And it sounds like whatever they're trying to do with him clearly is maybe kind of taking form. I mean, otherwise you feel like they just kind of give up on him after a point, right? If they kept messing with the same guy multiple times, after a point you feel like, well, clearly whatever we're doing isn't working. Give up on this one, go to a different candidate. But then there's also the fact there's 345 candidates, at least that we're aware of. There could still be more. I mean, yet again, he finds that there's a bunch of other files and everything, including the fact that at random, he picks candidate 344, the one who specifically came before him. Not very random, if you ask me. There's a variety of little pokeable parts of this story. Like, there was also, like, a clipboard that was brought up. The fuck did the clipboard come in? When was that a relevant plot point? I don't know. I could nitpick, I'm sure, but I'm not really here to do that. I'm trying to understand what's going on in this bizarro organization, really. And I feel like they're doing experimentations on people, absolutely. But I don't think it's like using, operating tables and implanting things in people's minds. It does feel like it's more the environment itself. And maybe it is supposed to be some kind of a psychological, maybe not psychological warfare, but I suppose you could still class it as that because, you know, if this is stuff done against their will, I mean, it's certainly not consenting, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, it's just an oppressive, bizarre environment. It's not like the best. There's so many weird things about it, right? And so it could easily parallel into a variety of different answers. But it's interesting. I also love the fact that he's so hell-bent on the fact that, like, his wife looks different. Like, I mean, not having the birthmark, I think that's quite interesting. Not having freckles, I don't find that one to be as strange. Because, see, I've got freckles. Well, I had freckles. I think I've still got some freckles. But over time, you know, sometimes you get more freckles and sometimes they fade. So that's not the weirdest one to me. The birthmark disappearing, that one's quite strange. That you have to, like, specifically have removed, or in which case, if they're making, like, duplicates of people, in which case maybe not everything carries over, blah, blah, blah. All kinds of things. Also, like, the microwave is not a microwave. There's so many things in here that are just, I'm so curious about. And it sounds like there might end up being more of the story at one point, which would be fantastic, in which case we'll definitely come back to, because I really want to kind of know what's going on. Things that this made me think of, well, one of the first things that immediately came to mind was the TV show Severance, which I've only just started, but bizarro, office-like environment, really strange things going on, figuring out how everything works and what the fuck is going on. Very much so. Very much feels like that, except in Severance, they're not exactly alone. So, there is that. It also weirdly made me think of Room 1408, just because of the fact that it feels like it's kind of a cycle with a variety of factors that are meant to disturb our protagonists and give them, well, just a horrific experience. Except in 1408, obviously, like, it is a psychological horror, I would say, as well. But it does have, like, other varieties of horror elements, and the point is the room wants people to go in there and die. At least that's what I kind of took away from that. But luckily, like, our protagonist in that, well, he won. He did really good. It's a great movie. Great movie if you haven't seen it. How a room can haunt somebody. It's fucking awesome. I suppose you could also think about, yet again, it's got ties to, like, vibes of Men in Black, or The X-Files, or, maybe like Enemy of the State or something like that, you know. Yeah, it's yet again loosely connected, not exactly full-on connections. It also makes me think of the story project that I'm working on, the Infinity Bureau, because yet again it's just a secretive organization. Except my thing isn't meant to be that the organization is weird and doing spooky, strange shit and horrifying. It's more that they analyze, interpret, and contain dangerous anomalies and things like that. It kind of feels like a little bit of like SCP and shit like that. But there's stories attached to it. So I would say it definitely feels kind of like SCP and Control, things like that. Yeah, no, it's been a pretty sweet story. I'm really glad I got to read it. Thank you yet again, ManBehindReality, for this opportunity. I'm excited to see the next part when it comes out, man. I've been Nate at night. I've had a fantastic time, and I sure hope you have too. We will see you for whatever's next. Take care out there. Shout out to these cool peeps. Seriously, we wouldn't have got this far without them. You're all amazing. I love you all so much. Honestly, it's tremendous work you do. Supporting the channel, keeping us afloat. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. You too could become a cool peep for just $1 a month. What that's going to get you is 2 weeks early access to future videos. It's also going to get you exclusive members-only content. And there might be extra goodies coming along the way. What can I say? I'm just charitable like that. Or you can become super cool. Now that's $5 a month, but what you're going to get out of that is all the perks from the previous tier, plus also 10% discount on future merchandise, and also access to my private Discord server with a fantastic little community that we have, where I plan on hosting monthly movie nights and also weekly casual hangouts. You can also show your support by tipping through either Super Chats, Super Thanks, both on YouTube, or through my Streamlabs.com URL, which will be in the description of future videos below. Cheers for now, guys!